Your news for the state of Tennessee in 10 minutes. Tennessee in 10 is made possible by Tennessee Department of Labor and Workforce Development.
Thanks for joining us for Tennessee in 10. I'm Amanda Hara. Remains have now been found 3 days in a row in Springfield, and at least some of those remains are confirmed to be human. Smoky Barn News reports the city says more were found yesterday after cadaver dogs and an underwater dive team were brought in. The remains were found near a greenway and were sent to the state medical examiner for analysis. This is the very same area where a human leg was found back in July. DNA matched that leg to a man named Joseph Frank Benton Sr.
Hello from the WVLT Newsroom. I'm Will Puckett. Well, the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation says that a member of the Hancock County School Board has now been indicted for trying to solicit a minor. TBI agents say that they began investigating allegations involving 75-year-old Jack Mullins back in August. TBI agents say during their investigation, they learned that Mullins approached a juvenile girl at a fitness center in Sneedville and tried to solicit her for sexual activity.
Mid-state voters in Middle Tennessee hitting the polls today to decide who fills the District 7 congressional seat. It covers more than a dozen Middle Tennessee counties. The seat was vacated earlier this year when Representative Mark Green retired. All right, rain in your first alert forecast, and some would say that we need this rain, Stefano.
We certainly do. The rain is causing problems, though, as you're getting out the door this morning, and roads are going to stay wet for a good amount of our day today, though the heaviest and steadiest of the rain is actually to our north in northern parts of Kentucky. We are still going to get scattered showers and maybe a couple rumbles of thunder as we head through the day here in the state of Tennessee. There really isn't a severe weather threat. There could be some ponding on some areas of poor drainage, but I think the worst of the rain, again, well off to our north, but still enough that will try to help out the ongoing drought conditions. You can get a good look at that rainfall coming in with that frontal system the rest of today into early tonight. That should pretty much be wrapped up by tomorrow morning. There may be a few clouds lingering along I-65 areas to the east as we get out toward East Tennessee, but those clouds will dissipate the later we head through our day. The rest of the week is dry, but get ready for a cool down. Temperatures will drop into the 70s pretty consistently through the rest of the work week, warm up a little bit going into the weekend, and some high elevations will even stay in the 60s on Wednesday. Overnight lows will drop into the 50s, and it will even drop into the 40s in some of the higher elevations as well the next few nights.
A Knoxville woman is facing charges after officials say she's accused of hitting a 7-year-old child twice while in a parking lot. Now, officials say 29-year-old Lauren Whaley was arrested after 2 witnesses say she dragged a child into a car at a Kroger in South Knoxville, hit him twice in the face with a closed fist. Officers speaking with the child, who had red marks and dried blood on his shorts. Whaley did not give an explanation to officers, saying she, quote, needed to get her phone. She is now charged with felony child abuse.
Well, a massive car show that brought out an estimated 250,000 people in Pigeon Forge will not be returning. The Slammed Enough car show was canceled this past Saturday because the city says the crowds were simply unmanageable. And the police chief says they will not be welcome back.
I didn't like what I saw. Very sickening. That's not Pigeon Forge. That's not our community. That's not how we act here.
The police chief says he got nearly 1,400 calls about traffic and noise from the car show. He says meetups happened all over Sevier County, but that this was one of the worst. The police chief says they've issued nearly 500 citations and even arrested several people who were not following orders. Officials say there were more than 50 crashes tied to that car show.
The Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, many folks will know it by the term SNAP, is set to run out of federal money within 2 weeks if the federal government shutdown is not brought to an end. While that's happening in the state of Tennessee, a critical deadline is approaching for folks in the volunteer state who find themselves on the SNAP rolls. Now, SNAP users in Tennessee have until the end of the month, the 31st of October, to meet the new expanded work requirements or prove why they should still be exempt. Second Harvest Food Bank says the demand for food in East Tennessee has been up in the past 3 years. They're now preparing for even more demand as the change rolls out.
This could put a real burden on some families that, again, always at the most vulnerable if they're in line for food. If they need SNAP benefits, if they need Second Harvest, they're just at the most vulnerable. If there is food needed, Second Harvest will be there for the people who need it.
That was Elaine Strano with Second Harvest. Now, once this goes into effect, people could lose their SNAP benefits after just 3 months if they do not meet the new requirements. From there, it'll then be another 3 years before they're eligible to receive benefits again. In the WVLT newsroom, I'm Will Puckett. Now back to you.
$175,000 could help save a piece of Black history in Tennessee. Hackney Chapel is more than a century old, and as you can see, it's now starting to show its age. Members say the East Tennessee Church needs thousands of dollars of work, and if the money can't be raised, the building may be torn down. The church is on the National Register of Historic Places and was a place where Black people could worship safely before the end of Jim Crow laws.
The legacy and the people that have paved the way for us to have the freedoms that we have today, it's definitely a blessing, definitely a special place that we want to keep preserved for future generations.
The Loudoun County Church also has a cemetery in the back where families of past generations are buried.